Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District January 15th board meeting. I am AESD Board President Juan Gabriel Alvarez, and I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 209-701-3605. Cuando se le pida, introduzca el PIN o la clave 163-541-226 y la tecla numeral. Any member of the public has the opportunity to address the board in person during the agendized public comment session at 6:30 p.m. Let's begin with the board roll call. First, to my far right, we have Julie Yip. Board member Ryan Norellis.
Present.
Board member Mark Lopez.
Present.
Board clerk Jackie Philbeck.
Present.
Board president Juan Alvarez. Let's move on to public speakers for closed session agenda items. Are there any public speakers? None? Okay. All right, so let's move on to adjournment to closed session. The board will adjourn to discuss the following items after we get a motion in a second.
So moved to adjourn closed session.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All right, all in favor of adjourning to closed session?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's move on to closed session.
my name is Natasha, and I joined Violet because it's fun and you can learn.
Los invito a que inscriban a sus niños para que este programa continúe.
Hi, my name is Natasha, and I joined Violet because it's fun and you can learn new stuff of other dances of other places. And I encourage you to join Violet because you could have fun and you could experiment other dances. We practice our dances and we do exercises for our new dance, and then we do a fun activity of dance.
Test, test.
Good evening, everybody. We apologize for the delay in the start time. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District January 15th Board Meeting. I am AESD Board President Juan Gabriel Alvarez, and I call this meeting to order at 6:43 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 209-701-3605. Cuando se le pida, introduzca el clave o el PIN 163-541-226 y la tecla numeral. Let's move on to item 3A and to the flag salute led by our Superintendent Jesse Chavarria. Okay, let's move on to introductions and roll call. Starting to my right, we have Board Member Julie Yip.
Present.
We have Board Member Ryan Ruelas.
Good evening.
We have Board Member Mark Lopez.
Good evening, everyone.
Board Clerk Jackie Philbeck.
Good evening.
I'm Juan Gabriel Alvarez, your president. To my left, we have just Jesus Chavarria, Superintendent.
Hi, everyone.
Dina Melland, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Good evening.
Yadira Moreno, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services.
Good evening.
Matthew Slusser, Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services.
Good evening, everyone.
And to my right, we have Belinda Gordillo, Communications Coordinator.
Good evening, everyone.
Also to my right, we have Yesenia Mancha, our Senior Administrative Assistant.
Good evening, everybody.
And in the back, we have Alina Avelar Garcia and Ana Acevedo Diaz, our interpreters. Thank you, ladies. And then we also have in the room in the back and up here in the front, we have Carrie Robertson, Tony Rincon, and Ivan Valencia helping us with our technology and our sound. All right, so next item is to report on closed sessions. I have 2 items to report. Okay, in closed session, the board voted 5-0 to suspend certificated employee number 0115-2025-03 without pay for 3 days. That's one thing we voted on. And the next item in closed session, we also voted 3-2 in favor of requesting that the California Attorney General authorize a quo warranto action against trustee Mark Lopez due to incompatibility between his position as a trustee for the Anaheim Elementary School District and his position as a trustee for the NOCCD. Votes in favor were by Philbeck, Yip, and Alvarez, and votes against were by Lopez and Ruelas. Okay, we're moving on to approval of the adoption of the agenda. Just let's note that item 4A was removed at the request of administration prior to the adoption. Do I have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved, as amended.
Okay, motion by Ruelas.
Second, Philbeck.
Second by Philbeck. Any discussion on the agenda? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to special order of business. Let's start with the Anaheim Elementary PTA Reflections Contest winners. We have Maritza Bermudez, Anaheim Elementary President, and Jesse Alvarez, Reflections Chair. Come on up, ladies. Thank you.
Good? Closer? Okay. Okay, good evening, President Alvarez, board members, cabinet, and everyone present, both in person and online. I come before you this evening representing the Anaheim Elementary Council PTA as a president, joined by this year's Reflections Chair, Ms. Jessie Alvarez, who will help to honor our Anaheim Elementary Council PTA Reflections Award of Excellence recipients. Before we celebrate this year's winners, it is with a heavy heart that we pause to recognize one of our extraordinary scholars and Award of Excellence recipients from Roosevelt Elementary, who is no longer with us. Elizabeth Molina was a bright and cherished member of the online independent study program. Since kindergarten, each time she was seen, she greeted others with a radiant smile that brought warmth to everyone around her. This past year, she shared her enthusiasm with the Anaheim Elementary Succeeds Girl Scouts group, where her energy and joy made a lasting impression. The Roosevelt community and all of us who had the honor of knowing Elizabeth are deeply saddened by this profound loss, especially for her family. In honor of Elizabeth's life and the incredible light she brought to our community, I invite all of you to join me in a moment of silence to remember her. We thank the leadership for graciously giving us the space to honor the memory of Elizabeth Molina. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jesse Alvarez, our Reflections Chair, who will take over.
Good evening. And Alvarez, Board of Education and Cabinet. And thank you all to all the families and students for being here tonight. I'm going to give just a quick recap of how our Reflections program went this year. We had 18 schools participate. We had a total of 525 entries across all of those 18 schools. We had 76 entries turned into us at council for judging, and we had 18 Award of Excellence winners that moved on to the county 4th District round. 50 students and their families attended our Reflections Gallery that was on November 20th, 2024. And we had some board members in attendance as well, so thank you for your support in that. And our next round of Reflections Gallery and Awards will be the county level at the Orange County Department of Ed on February 1st from 12 to 3. So like I always like to invite Board of Education and Cabinet and the families will also receive an invitation. All 18 of our students that will be recognized tonight, their art will also be on display at that event as well. So now on to our recognition. I'm going to invite Superintendent Chavarria to help read out the names. And I invite the rest of the board for photos. Works too.
Good evening, everyone, parents, community, welcome. One of the things that we started this year, whenever we recognize a student, on behalf of the board, we present them with a medal that says, thank you for, everything that you do. So on behalf of the board, the students that are being recognized will also receive a medal. So in literature, we have our first student, Elizabeth Molina. Elizabeth Molina. And as a former teacher, first day of instruction, I always used to tell my students, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but I always want to teach you to be courageous. So when you come up here, you don't hurt my feelings by saying, Mr. Chavarria, this is how you pronounce it, and I will help you pronounce it correctly. So next student, Alina Killian. Alina. Also in literature, Allison Sandoval Ozuna. In photography, we have Luna Bernas. Luna. Also in photography, Samantha Zoba. Samantha. Samantha Escoba, thank you. And also in photography, Francine Lalop. Francine. In film production, Hector David Sanchez Martinez. Also film production, Iseleli Leti. Is that correct? Iseleli Leti. Excellent. Thank you. And in film production, Jasmine Sarigumba. In dance, Daniela Avelino Potrero. Also in dance, Ariana Martinez. And also in dance, Sieni Kuola Liti. Sieni Koli Liti. Yes. And in visual arts, Aiden Villalobos. Also visual arts, Naomi Flores. Visual arts as well, Esmeralda Rodriguez. And also visual arts, Mark Bugarin Vela. And in music, Liliana Hernandez. And also music, Lynn Nguyen. Okay, everyone, these are our award recipients, and on behalf of the board, thank you so much. PTA, thank you so much for putting the reflections contest together.
Okay, moving on to item C under special order of business. We have our district financial audit by Matthew Slusser, our Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, Eduardo de la Cruz, Director of Business and Fiscal Services, and Monique Manzo, Audit Supervisor, and Christy White from Christy White Associates.
All right, go ahead and get started. Well, good evening, Board President Alvarez, members of the board, and ASD community. After closing the books for the 23-24 fiscal year, which was presented in the unaudited actuals report back in September, the final step in this process to close the year is the annual district audit performed by an external auditor. Before I hand this over to Eduardo de la Cruz, Director of Business Fiscal Services, and Monique Manzo, Audit Supervisor from our external auditor, Christy White and Associates, I'd like to thank our fiscal team, district departments, school sites, and all involved for their hard work and support in completing this thorough audit.
Good evening, Board President Alvarez, board members, cabinet, and all of our guests. Tonight, we will share with you the results of the 2023-2024 financial audit. Per Ed Code 41020, all school districts are required to have an annual financial audit that is completed by an external audit firm. The firm reviews the district's financial records, internal control processes, and procedures. They sample, analyze, and verify whether internal controls are adequate and whether operations are the most efficient and effective use of public funds. I want to take a moment to thank the administration and the staff at the 5 school sites that were selected and participated in the audit. They were AEOA, Gower, Mann, Price, and Revere. Along with Matthew Slusser and Anne-Marie Chow, I would also like to acknowledge and thank the entire fiscal services team and all the other departments that contributed to the completion of this audit. At this time, I would like to introduce Monique Manzo, Audit Supervisor at Christy White and Associates.
Good, and thank you for having me here. Again, my name is Monique Manzo. I'm an audit supervisor with Christy White. So I'd like to start off with a little overview of our audit process, our audit procedures, and kind of end with our opinions over the financial statements as well as federal and state compliance. So as Eduardo kind of already covered it for me, our audit covers a broad range of areas tested throughout the year. So during the spring, we're really focused on completing audit procedures that are published in the annual LEA State Audit Guide that is updated annually. So this includes procedures over attendance, instructional materials, instructional minutes. Specifically for 23-24 year, we looked at Proposition 28 and the Extended Learning Opportunities Program, which was new this year. Also, we look at your internal controls over your financial processes. So this is your purchasing, cash disbursements, cash receipts, and payroll. We're looking at all sorts of transactions. Because the district expended more than $750,000 in federal expenditures, we were required to conduct a single audit. So this year we took a look at your Title I and Title III federal programs, and we also look at internal controls and program compliance. Finally, after you approve your unaudited actuals, we come back again in the fall and we're looking at all those balance sheet ending balances. So cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable. We're also looking at your capital assets, long-term debt, also looking at revenues and expenditures. As far as audit responsibilities, who's responsible for what? The district is responsible for the design and implementation of effective internal controls over financial reporting processes, also for the preparation and fair presentation of your financials. Our responsibility is to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement, as well as issuing those opinions. Our opinion does not address the financial condition of the district. So kind of looking at the audit report, in the printed audit report on page 89, I think it's everyone's favorite page, their go-to page. It's a nice little table that summarizes our audit opinions and audit results. So again, that's page 89 of the printed report. Might look familiar to some of you. So first opinion we issued is for the financial statements. We issued an unmodified opinion, which is the best audit opinion possible. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies over internal controls over financial reporting were disclosed or noted through our testing. Therefore, there was no related findings. For federal awards, again, we looked at Title I and Title III this year. Again, issued an unmodified opinion. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies were noted. For state awards, this is going back to the LEA State Audit Guide. We issued an unmodified opinion there as well. No material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies were identified. However, we did report two findings related to state awards. So findings begin on page 92 of the printed report. You'll see that finding number 1 is associated with the After School Education and Safety Program, also known as your ACES program. So with ACES, it's a pretty lengthy section of the audit guide. There's different components we're looking at. So the two components that weren't really met this year had to do with us reviewing the first half managed grant that's submitted to the CDE, which summarizes the number of students served and the days of operation of the program. Another component is to verify that the program met the cash or in-kind match of no less than 1/3 of the total grant amount. So during testing, we reviewed the program attendance summaries, 2 attendance roster sheets for a sample of school sites, the ones that were mentioned by Eduardo, and we calculated an understatement of 75 students served to the CDE. When reviewing the in-kind match documentation, it was noted that the program calculated the match requirements using actual program expenditures versus the grant amount. So again, you have to use the grant amount there. This resulted in question cost of $182,419, which is equivalent to the shortage in the match requirement. So the question cost that you see there is associated to the match requirement. There was no question cost associated to the understatement of students served, since the program was maintained at an 85% level. The second finding, also a state award finding, and that's related to the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, again, ELOP program. I'll tell you firsthand, you guys weren't the only ones who received a finding for this. I saw worse findings. It's a new program. There was a lot of audit steps with this as well. It's a good portion of the audit guide. I'd like to say the district did a really good job implementing this program. They met almost everything listed out. So the finding here is related really to obtaining and maintaining signed registration forms for students who are enrolled in the program. So during our testing, we identified 1 student at Barton Elementary and 5 students at Revere Elementary who did not have signed enrollment forms on file. Because it was evident that the district provided access and opportunity to enroll in this program, there are no question causes associated with this finding. That concludes my presentation of the audit. I'd like to thank your fiscal team and everyone involved. They do a great job every year. Again, especially going remotely, They're always on top of our requests and really respond in a timely manner. So again, thank you to you, your team, and everyone at the sites. I'd like to welcome any questions.
Looks like we have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay, it's recommended the Board of Education receive and accept the 2023-24 annual financial audit as completed by Christy White Accountancy Corporation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ruelas, second by Lopez. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any abstention? Any noes or abstentions? No. Okay, motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on to our news and updates. First, we have a parent leadership group update from our PTA president, Maritza Bermudez. Come on up.
Good evening again, everyone. I really don't have much to report on since we did do the reflections part. Just really want to thank you for the ongoing partnership and the collaboration that we have with our district. And we just want to continue that in this new year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, association updates, we have none, right? Okay, and now moving on to district news and updates. Belinda Gordillo, communications coordinator, will present district news and updates for the evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Belinda Gordillo, and I'm going to be presenting the news and updates. So, for the month of December, Jefferson Elementary received the most improved attendance for the month. And to celebrate this achievement, tomorrow they're going to be actually surprised with a treat from our cabinet team and a lot of our staff members. Okay, so congratulations to Jefferson. And then on December 19th, AESD hosted its showcase band and mariachi all-stars performances at Marshall Elementary School. And several schools were proudly represented, and it was a wonderful celebration for our students' musical talents and hard work. And we want to thank all of our music teachers for their continued support of our students. And on December 20th, AESD families and community members received food, toys, books, and essential items through a distribution event at the district office. And we want to thank many of our partners who made this possible, including Villages of California, Pueblo, OC, CALSA, City of Anaheim, Anaheim Fire, the Spark of Love Initiative, CF Fitness, Operation Lee, and El Santuario Church. So with the help of our staff and our volunteers, over 700 toys and items were given out to the community. And we want to congratulate our AESD employees who were recently nominated for the 2025 OCDE Classified Employees of the Year. And those nominations are Yu Live. She's a preschool teacher from Key. And we have, hard to see, Laura Cabezas Magaña, SOC James Madison School, Jose Lopez Rubalcaba, School Safety Assistant from Marshall, Antonio Rincon, Technology and Support Technician from DES, Esther Martinez, Dispatcher from the District Office and Scheduler, Alina Avila Roque, she is our translator, District Office, right in the back over there, and finally Mario Peña, Lead Warehouse Assistant here in the District Office. So congratulations to everybody. Yes. And then during the winter break, AESD schools received reading logs, and each school distributed this activity for our students. It was an initiative to encourage reading during the breaks. As you know, we have 3 weeks. And so schools with the greatest number of return reading logs are gonna get an incentive. So we are gonna circle back and let you guys know. Those pictures are actually some kids from AESD, and their mom tagged us on social media. So thank you to all of our parents who really encouraged the love for reading this winter session. And on January 6th through 10th, approximately 750 students attended the winter break winter camp, and it was just a week of a lot of learning and enrichment, field trips, and more. Also, as part of the winter camp, we had a special program. It was a 2-day segment, and it was for 20 students. It was actually all girls in grades 5 through 6. And they participated in this STEM experience with the help of Anaheim Public Utilities Bright Girls program. So it encourages girls to learn about all the careers in science. And then they had a special speaker during one of the days. It was Mayor Pro Tem Natalie Meeks. She joined and she talked to the kids about her science background. And then we also want to congratulate AESD nominees for Parentino C Magazine's awards. And they've been doing this for 20 years. They listen to the readers. Readers submit their nominations for different educators from all the different districts in Orange County. And so this is great to have 4 people from our staff. And those are Denise Victoria. She's a principal at Westmont. Tara Robinson, top teacher finalist. Oh, she looks familiar. I didn't even recognize. And Julia Rojo, top teacher finalist from Jefferson. And then finally Brent Ball, top employee finalist, counselor from Barton. Okay, so congratulations. And last night, AESD's 4th graders were honored at the Anaheim City Council meeting for a creative writing project. This is a collaboration between Altrusa and also the Anaheim Public Library. And they've been doing this for a great amount of years as well. So the theme this year was finding my voice, telling my story. And these 4th graders were recognized for becoming authors. And so we want to thank Katie Hernandez. She's a curriculum specialist at AESD for helping to coordinate this and making this possible as well. And thank you for our board and several community members that came last night to support. And speaking of board members, we want to thank our dedicated AESD School Board of Education for advocating, championing, and supporting our students, teachers, families, and staff of the Anaheim Elementary School District. This is their month, so we appreciate them. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Belinda. Okay, moving on to public speakers speaking on agenda or non-agenda items. We have 1 speaker, it looks like. We have Maritza Bermudez. Come on up. All right, just like always, 3 minutes. Once you're at 30 seconds, the clerk Philbeck will show you a yellow card. At the end of the time, you'll see a red card. All right.
Thank you.
Anybody keeping time?
Speaking today. So good evening. My name is Maritza Bermudez. I am here as a parent of 3 students in this district. I want to highlight concerns about the resolution to censure board member Mark Lopez. While the resolution outlines legal and ethical concerns regarding dual roles, it can also be seen as a targeted attack against him. This public censure risks overshadowing the board's focus on student outcomes and community trust, resorting to costly litigations and public disapproval could devise and undermine collaboration. I urge the board to prioritize a constructive resolution over public conflict, which could set a negative precedent for governance and distract from the district's mission. As an engaged parent, I have seen collaboration and healthy discussion on this board. As I understand, the censoring of a school board member is a formal reprimand for misconduct or actions that violate board policies, ethics, or laws, which grounds can include breaching confidentiality, harassment, conflict of interest, or abusing power by interfering in district's operations. It may also involve failing to fulfill duties, violating meeting protocols, or engaging in illegal activities. Censuring is not about personal disagreements, but holding members accountable to protect the board's integrity and public trust. This process ensures transparency and reinforces the board's commitment to ethical governance. As of right now, I have not seen any misconduct or anything on board member Mark Lopez. What I've seen and I've experienced as a parent is collaboration, someone that I can go to and have conversations, and he is very transparent. That he sits on another board, and this board, I've also done some of my own research and don't really see no conflict of interest and wouldn't see it as something affecting this board. Just my opinion on that, and I was kind of thrown back how it was presented. seeing how the board has always really collaborated well, just kind of seemed like this was more of an attack. Lastly, I want to end because I am very disappointed to hear that Julie Deep, our board member, is running for state senate. I know she has a choice to do whatever she wants, run for wherever she wants, but just last month, you were here, Ms. Deep, and you shared very, very profound message to us, and I really believed it. And now I just feel like, does it even matter that you're here, that you want to be here or not, or is it just another stepping stone, right? Nothing personal against you. I just honestly, I even cried with what you said last month. And I really felt the connection. I feel very hopeful that we had another voice on the board that was actually gonna do more work. Not that it has not been done, but more allies to be supporting our families with students with special education. So I wish you the best of luck if you win or not, but if you stay, hopefully you will be committed to the families of AESD. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to the superintendent's report. We're going to have a report on the expanded learning opportunities from Cecilia Roman, Director of School, Family, and Community Engagement.
Short. See. Is this good? All right. Hi, good evening, Board President Alvarez, board members and cabinet members. First and foremost, I want to start with a huge thank you to my team because all of the work that I'm about to share is really a united effort from just a small representation of the team here, and then of course you'll see how many people are actually involved in our team. But I have Efrain Paniagua, who's over here, one of our ELOP administrators, Claudia Chambers, who's also one of our ELOP administrators, Brittany Acevedo, our curriculum specialist for ELOP, and our department covers many things, and one of the key pillars for community schools is ELOP, but it's also parent engagement. So I have Yesenia Navarro, who also supports all the work that we do, and my amazing translators, and then Anna, who supports us. So, and also, I want to thank each one of you guys, our board members, because you have been ever so supportive and just really our cheerleaders as we continue to grow as a program. So with that, let's get started. Our goal 4 years ago, under the visionary work of Dr. Moreno, we launched a program that we really didn't know what we were going to do, but we knew that we wanted to transform the after-school experience, before and after-school experience for our students. And that really has been the dream and the focus of what we do and why we do what we do. And so through that, our number one focus has always been student achievement. And how do we capitalize on relationships and connections and following those ELOP standards to ensure that we are building those connections and relationships that result in student achievement. So that is our goal. And we do that transparently through ongoing continuous improvement efforts that are listed there on this slide. 4 years of amazing hard work. And again, none of this could be possible without the support of the entire Anaheim Elementary School District Village. I want to highlight where we are today in 2024. You'll notice at the top, 7,760 students and growing. And I wish I could have put that word bigger because we haven't even done session 2. So what you see, that number, is really just the first session. When session 2 kicks off in the middle of recruitment, our numbers are probably going to surpass what we had. The 10,500 last year was really the highlight of towards the middle end of last year. So that's our highest number once all of our enrichments are off and running. So I am excited to see session 2 kick off and then at the end of this month because we know that it's definitely going to grow. A little circle in that slide is really alluding to what Belinda shared earlier about the amazing winter camp that we held. We are super proud of that. It is our first winter camp that we as a district hosted. For many, many, many years, we had an external provider. And so this is the first year where our own staff and our own curriculum specialists, we developed everything. We created all the experiences. So it was really a proud moment for us as we venture into future camps as well. Through our ELOP standards, we really like to focus and organize them into 4 key pillars. One of the huge efforts that we're really trying to bring to the surface this year is our academic achievement for our students. We recognize that that is the number one reason why we're all here. And all that we do really is aimed towards improving their confidence, improving their passions, so that we can truly get them engaged in school and achieving. One of the key changes that happened this year, and that's why I circled academic support there, is that we welcomed this year for the first time a certificated teacher. We have an ELOP TOSA, who really is working hand in hand with the leadership assistant to oversee our academic hour. And through her leadership, they're able to look at our data for every single school site. So our homework hour and our academic hour, that really is focused on whatever the site's actual data is. So if first graders are in need of more practice for short vowels, that's what the lessons are on. So we're super proud of that first launch of having a certificated staff member leading the academic work in after school, along with, of course, our classified staff members that support the team as well. But we cover everything from student leadership, SEL, fitness, and then performing arts, STEAM. It's really a well-rounded program that we're proud to offer to our families and our students. This slide really is to show you that it takes a village. You'll continue to hear me say that, not just as a district, but as a community. As a community schools district, we recognize the importance of building relationships not with our community. And so I've circled a couple here just to show you some of the new partnerships that we've established. City of Anaheim, for example, although it's not a new partnership, we've brought in new ventures. So Bright Girls, which was highlighted in the winter camp, that's a new piece and component for us, completely free of cost, but really focusing on those academic pieces and the science and getting learning happening. Girls Inc. is another STEAM-focused opportunity, and super excited about a first time introducing golf to all of our students. And so that's First Tee. One of our key focuses this year as we look for our contracts and as we look for partners is how do we bring longevity and sustainability? And so the partnerships that we're seeking are truly those that may start costing us a little bit, but what's their in-kind support? So First Tee, for example, we purchase the materials, but they are providing all of the coaches on a weekly basis. They provide a field trip to the Dad Miller's golf course, all free of cost to us. So we just pay for the materials. So those are the sustainable partnerships that we're really focusing on ensuring that we grow so that we can continue to have this program for many, many, many more years to come. Here's a snapshot of session 1, and it's not all inclusive. It's just to give you a glimpse of what are all these kids doing after school. In addition to the base program, which really encompasses that homework hour, the fitness, and basic enrichment, there are a plethora of specialized enrichment opportunities. So from speech and debate to Violet to our esports, we have SLED, which is our student leadership. These numbers are only for session 1. And so you'll notice some of them have an asterisk. Those are the ones that are pretty much a set group for the whole year. But those without an asterisk, there's still group 2 coming. So that's where they're just gonna continue to grow. We have a whole new set of Girl Scout troops starting, and it's amazing to know that this is the number just for session 1. Again, it actually takes a village, and this slide really represents that, to provide the services that we provide for our students. The first column shows our department and all of our AESD staff that work directly under Anaheim Elementary 6 seats. The second column are our other AESD employees that support our librarians, library media assistants who are now providing after-school opportunities to check out books, doing read-alouds, our technicians who are out there making sure we're ready for assemblies, our BIAs. It's just a plethora of really integrating the support from the whole system. And not included in there are all of our departments, because this has really been a year of inclusivity, of bringing all the departments together. And the last ones are all of our contracted staff. People that come, some of those are daily, those space programs, and some of them are once a week. So if you just, the sum of all of that is just about 771 staff members. Not all at once, of course, because some of those are weekly, But that's not inclusive of the teachers that want to sign up and teach a language academy class or teach a ballet class. So it's a huge village supporting our scholars here in ASD. As a new program, even though it is year 4, at the forefront of everything we do is how do we make it better? How do we refine it? So commitment to continuous growth, especially with our youngest leaders, our leadership assistants. They are true troopers in learning what it's like to be a leader, how to run a school after school. And so they've engaged in a variety of trainings over the last year and into this year. This year, we're especially proud of a handbook, that little picture you see on the left there. It's about that thick. I can't tell you how many pages it is, and it's ever changing, but it really does encompass the great work that happens, the procedures, the routines, the guidelines, everything that needs to happen to have a full, sustainable program, and then revisions. So we're super proud of that growth and growing our leaders. And in addition to our leaders, we're growing all of our teams. So that first one is our kickoff. We had Eric Rouse, who visited us early in August to help us kick off student engagement. In the second column there for our staff development day, we trained over 200 staff members, from leadership assistants to Alice to Elsas. It was really an amazing opportunity to learn about leadership, to learn about our winter camp. That's when they learned about their winter camp curriculum. And then we recognize that PD isn't a one drive-by, okay, I got it, I think I can implement this. We really have to keep it going. So we do have monthly PD offerings for our classified staff, which are virtual, and that's the last column that you see. And our next one is tomorrow. And so here is just a snapshot of Anaheim Elementary Succeeds Session 1. It encompasses everything from our community outreach, UCI, you see the baile and the mariachi up there, to our soccer. Today was our first soccer game kickoff. It was amazing. To community events, to homework support, truly an engaging place to learn. And hopefully what we're seeing is that kids want to be at school because they want to come to our program. And when we have kids that love to come to school, we're going to have kids that succeed. I mean, no pun intended, Anaheim Elementary succeeds. So with that, I do have a little 1-minute video that I want to share with you. We're going to cue that.
Hi, my name is Natasha, and I joined Violet because it's fun and you can learn new stuff of other dances of other places. And I encourage you to join Violet because you could have fun and you could experiment other dances. We practice our dances and we do exercises for our new dance, and then we do a fun activity of dance.
Sí, muy buenas tardes. Miren, padres, es importante que tengan a sus hijos en el ballet folclórico, porque aparte ellos aprenden disciplina en el baile, y también el folclórico, acuérdense que es nuestras costumbres y tradiciones de México, y es importante que ellos sepan nuestra cultura, nuestra tradición y los eventos que nosotros siempre hemos aprendido. Los invito a que inscriban a sus niños para que este programa continúe y sea.
Wanted to give you a quick glimpse at this year kicking off. As part of our literacy focus, everything we do, we always want to make sure we prompt kids to publicly speak, to explain what they're doing. And we know that language trumps literacy, so as much opportunity as we can provide our students to be a part of even something like dance, and they can incorporate that, that's just the key to everyone's success. So with that, this is how we're feeling after session 1 in Anaheim Elementary. And I think that picture captures it beautifully. This was our Dia de los Muertos speech competition back on the November 2nd, where students competed against grades all the way through 8th grade. So our kids really were the rock stars there as elementary school students. And another competition coming up in March, so we'll make sure that you guys are aware of that. But at this point, we're excited. We're excited for session 2 and what's to come. And again, thank you for always supporting the work that we do. And I'll open it up for questions.
Any concerns, questions, comments? Okay, I just want to say thank you for your hard work. Obviously, we're on the forefront of being like the best ELOP program in the universe.
We are.
So good job. You know, it started from really small ideas to now it's this big thing, right? And what we're doing is we're servicing our families and providing them opportunities to grow and to experience culture, and it's just really exciting. So thank you for your work. That being said, if there are any things that are, not everything's perfect, right? Just the way things go. If there are any concerns or anything you need support with, please reach out, right? We're here to listen. We're here to make sure that everything runs smoothly. There's always a solution to everything if we talk it out, right? So just thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
Just thank you. The leadership and is amazing. I've watched this program grow for a few years now, and it's often called a district within a district because it is that big, and there's a lot that goes into that. And I think that it's providing just amazing results and opportunities for our students, and that's what we're here about. So thank you to you and all of your staff, and Dearest was kind of at the beginning forefront for putting forth such an amazing program that the students and the parents love. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say once again as well, you know, thank you for continuing the great things that, you know, started a few years ago. Really, to watch this whole thing transpire throughout the years has been great. Let's be honest, it started off very loosey-goosey where every administrator got a stipend for what exactly? We didn't know. So thank you to the team to really reining that in. Thank you, Dr. Moreno, for actually stepping in and getting that organized, because it's one thing to have an idea, you know, and everybody gets this with this money, but it's another thing to actually serve our students. And that's been something that really actually took root when Dr. Moreno took it over and really has continued throughout the years. And I'm just so thankful that you now are running the ship. So good job.
Thank you.
I just have a quick comment. I just want to say thank you so much for helping to preserve the culture, which is also the language and the history, but most importantly to all the students that participated, to all the leadership, because, you know, once you celebrate the culture, you're also celebrating self-identity and worth. So thank you so much for motivating the students to continue to preserve their heritage and to celebrate it.
You know, and Ms. Vermont, well, I'm going to be outdone by all my colleagues, so you know, no pressure. But you know, I know you don't do it for the public accolades or the praise, but you know, thank you for everything you've done and your team. And I think it really shows that collaboration with our parents. And we really couldn't do it without the parents, because it's really them entrusting us to have their children here after school and working with them, because they're with us until 6th grade, but they're with their parents for the rest of their lives, essentially, right? So thank you for continuing to instill that at this young age and have that be a lifelong experience for them. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thanks you so much.
Okay, on to item 8, consent calendar. Items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are acted on by the board in one motion. There is no discussion of these items unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items to be pulled at this time, board members? Okay, that being said, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as it stands?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Yip, second by Ruelas. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? None? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Moving on to the action calendar. Superintendent's Office. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2024-25/28 regarding district practices related to immigration and custom enforcement, reaffirming the district's commitment to providing a safe and supportive environment for all students, regardless of immigration status. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ruelas. I'll go ahead and second that. All right. Any discussion? Okay. I would just like to say a lot of our families are going through a really hard time right now, trying to adjust to what's happening politically in our country. And it behooves us as a community to support them and find them resources to connect with each other, so that our children feel safe and protected, right? That's the bottom line. If our kids are not feeling supported and safe, they can't learn, right? So this resolution is intended to create a safety net for our families here in the district, to make them understand that we will not be cooperating with things that are going to tear their families apart. And that's our intention behind this, at least my intention behind this, is that to make sure that we put out that message to our families: hey, you're safe here. Your kids can come to school and feel safe, and we're going to take care of you, and we're not going to give away your information to anybody who's asking for it, okay? So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. So, all right, any other comments? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, seeing none, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item B, educational services. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2024-25/27, declaring the month of February as Make Kindness Contagious Month. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Philbick, second by, Yep. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item C, SELPA, there are no items. Item D, Human Resources. It's recommended the Board of Education ratify and approve the appointment of employee number 011-52025-01 to the position of Barton Vice Principal effective January 6th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Reales,
Second.
second by Lopez. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Tina?
Congratulations to Cynthia Murguia. Cynthia has been an AESD for 24 years. Her experience includes working as an instructional assistant, substitute teacher, DLI teacher, teacher on special assignment, and most recently as the acting leadership assistant at Barton School. Congratulations to Vice Principal Cynthia Murguia.
Okay, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the appointment of employee number 011-52025-02 to the position of Gower Principal, effective date to be determined. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Yip.
Second.
Second, was that Lopez? Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Tina?
Congratulations to Dr. Lori Nash. Dr. Nash has been in education for over 19 years, with 9 of those years in AESD. She has worked as a classroom teacher, teacher on special assignment, ELOP curriculum specialist, and currently as the Marshall Vice Principal. Congratulations to Dr. Nash as she begins as the Gower Principal on Tuesday.
Thank you. All right, so sorry. Okay, item E, administrative services, no items. Item F, Board of Education. It is recommended the Board of Education discuss and take action to fill a board vacancy due to AESD board members' election to the NOCCD board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion, Yep.
Second.
Second, Philbeck. So it's my understanding that this is meant to discuss what we would decide to do in a form of action to replace the board member in case of a vacancy, right? So we're looking to either special election or by appointment. Are those options? Can you elaborate? Yeah,
I'm going to have our attorney, Tony DeMarco, explain that process to you and what exactly what that means.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, trustees and cabinet. So the basic process is when there is a vacancy, you have two options. Number one is you can appoint a trustee from the same trustee area where the vacancy occurs, or you can call for a special election. If the trustees, the 4 remaining trustees, are unable to agree on an appointment to the vacant seat, then the county superintendent of schools actually will call a special election. If there is an appointment, then there is a time period where it's called a provisional appointment. There is a time period during which members of the public can obtain signatures and have that appointment nullified, in which case it goes to a special election.
Any questions or comments regarding concerns?
What is there's cost to a special election?
Yeah, so what happens when there is a special election is we actually go to the county and ask them how much it's going to be. It varies because it depends on the number of agencies that have something on the ballot for that special election. So I've heard of numbers as low as $90,000, as $250,000 and up, depending on how many different things are on the ballot for special election.
And with appointment, it's just the cost of our staff putting together the process and us discussing it and appointing.
Yeah, there's some advertising that goes along with it, so that you can tell the public that there's been a vacancy and that you're going through the appointment process, but it's mostly staff time.
Okay.
Do we have to decide?
I think, yeah, the idea is to take action on what we would prefer to do if should we move forward with having to replace somebody.
I just want clarification though. If somebody is still sitting on the board and has not formally resigned or has been in a lawsuit with a legal case making that decision for them, what's to prevent them from not leaving the board?
What's to prevent them from not leaving the board?
Correct.
I think I'm answering the question correctly. Maybe you can clarify, but nothing would prevent them from leaving the board.
Correct. Nothing?
Unless I'm misunderstanding the question.
So if Trustee Lopez does not resign from the board, or Trustee Lopez is not removed from the board because of the fact that there is no legal case that this is already done besides the Attorney General guidelines.
Yes, so
what
maybe
then
I'll
happens?
answer a different question, just make sure we're on the same page.
Sure.
Right now you don't have a vacancy.
Correct. That's why I'm a little confused as to why we're talking about this and putting the cart before the horse.
Sure, because there was a potential for somebody to have maybe resigned by this time of the meeting, and if that would have happened, this would be an appropriate thing to discuss.
Got you, but
so
that hasn't.
there's still a possibility based on the actions we took in closed session that the seat will be vacated. So it's imperative for us to have that discussion anyway, right? Should we get to a point where board member is no longer with us, we can decide right now we would move forward with a special election or we would move forward with an appointment.
Thank you for that clarification.
Kind of awkward to be asking this question, but what is typically the timeline on the appointment versus and cost? What would be the estimated cost of an appointment?
But appointments really don't have a cost item to them. It happens quite often. So it's really just staff time. There'll be advertising, community relations, making sure that people in your trustee area would know that there is a vacancy if and or when there's a vacancy. And then typically there is an application process, a vetting process, an interview process, an open session, and then an appointment that follows. So it's board time and staff time.
Okay, so I think at this point, it's like I need to make a motion, or one of us needs to make a motion within the motion to move to decide on one of those two avenues, right? Because the actual item doesn't ask us to vote on either thing. It says to take action. So is it appropriate to make a motion within the motion to move either way? How would we, what's the direction to move forward?
So I think given the fact that you don't have a vacancy right now, the motion would be to give direction to staff to prepare whatever paperwork necessary in the event, whether it's an appointment or a special election, just prepare for that eventuality if it happens.
Okay, so I would move to direct staff to prepare us to move forward with an appointment to fill any vacancy should there be one in the future. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion on that. All right, all in favor of moving forward with an appointment, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Okay, abstentions, there are none. So we move forward with an appointment. Vote is 3-2. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next item. Is recommended the Board of Education discuss and take action to consider passage of a censure motion regarding board member Mark Lopez. Do you have a motion? I'll go ahead and move that. Do you have a second?
For discussion, second.
Okay, so a motion, Alvarez, second, Philbeck. Okay, any discussion on this item?
Trustee Lopez, can you go ahead and explain to us a little bit more about what a censure motion exactly is?
Well,
Trustee Lopez?
Trustee Lopez or Trustee Alvarez? Trustee Alvarez, you agendized this, so
Yeah.
what is the censure motion? And Trustee Lopez, what is your understanding of it, considering this is about you?
Okay, so the intention of the censure motion is actually to inform the public of when there's an action taken by a member of a body that can be seen as maybe unethical or incorrect or wrong or misleading. And in this case, I put this item up on the agenda because I thought it was appropriate to be transparent to our community. Instead of them hearing rumors or hearing second, third, fourth hand what might be happening with this school board, I felt it appropriate for them to understand exactly what case law we're looking at, exactly what I believe Mr. Lopez might be doing wrong according to his actions of not resigning on this board.
Right. Well, it's my understanding censure is probably one of the highest kind of reprimands of unethical behavior. So I am not in agreement with that, and I did have a few issues with a few of the whereases on here in terms of the sixth whereas, where it indicates that legal counsel has advised the Board of Education the offices of school board member and community college board member are incompatible. And that's something that hasn't been adjudicated by a court at this point. Also in this ninth whereas, the second from the bottom of the first page, saying as a result of my refusal to resign, the Board of Education may be required to initiate costly legal litigation, which I would like to strike out be required to, because I don't believe there's any requirement that the board have to initiate that litigation.
Actually, it is, because if we move forward with having to do the filing, there are legal costs. So in you not resigning, there is an incurred cost in us filing lawsuits and working with lawyers. So it is required because they're not going to do pro bono work for us.
Right, and that was a if filing.
When we file, as discussed in our closed session item.
If I just may add,
go
we
ahead.
didn't talk about the aspect about forfeiting, myself included, that any of us who are going to a higher office, that when you are going to that higher office, oftentimes that lower seat is forfeited. In the non-compliant issue is an attorney general issue, and I think that's something that we have to understand, that we have to take that position, and it is our obligation as public servant to, in my eyes, to, and I think with the discussion with the attorney general, observations, and that it is something that we should forfeit, given that if and when we do take a higher office.
Sure, and in the spirit and transparency, I actually want to read this entire resolution as it stands to the public so that you get an idea of what we're looking at. Again, this is not a personal attack on Board Member Lopez. That's not my intention. My intention is to let everyone out there know what's going on and what findings we found, right? So if I don't have something on the agenda and it's not motioned and seconded to discuss, I can't tell you anything, right? So we're relying on hearsay. So I thought it appropriate and transparent for us to do this, because in my opinion, there is misconduct, and in this resolution, it is spelled out. So I'll read it to you so you can see what we're talking about. Okay, So, whereas the Board of Trustees of the Anaheim Elementary School District is committed to the effective operations of the Anaheim Elementary School District in order to provide governance and leadership for the district. Whereas the board needs all 5 members to contribute to a positive working environment for colleagues on the board and within the district. Whereas the board is committed to upholding policies providing for open, honest, and respectful communication, adherence to state law and policies governing the board's actions and behaviors, and acting in the concerted fashion to set an example of positive leadership in the district. Whereas Board Bylaw 9005A expects board members to govern responsibly and hold themselves to highest standards of ethical conduct. Whereas Government Code Section 1099 prohibits individuals from holding incompatible offices. Whereas legal counsel has advised the Board of Education that the offices of school board member and community college board members are incompatible. Whereas the board member Mark Lopez was elected to the governing board of the North Orange County Community College Board and was sworn into office in the December 2024 meeting. Whereas board member Mark Lopez has not resigned from the Board of Education of the Anaheim Elementary School District despite his ethical duty to do so. Whereas as a result of board member Mark Lopez's refusal to resign, the Board of Education may be required to initiate costly litigation to remove board member Mark Lopez from the Board of Education. Whereas the continued participation of board member Mark Lopez on the Board of Education in violation of Government Code Section 1099 could subject actions taken by the Board of Education to legal challenges. Now therefore let it be resolved as follows. Based on the above recitals, the board proclaims publicly that it disapproves of board member Mark Lopez's conduct, and this board hereby officially censures board member Lopez for his conduct. That's the resolution.
Well, I was going to reiterate my point that it's to borrow a term from Trustee Reynolds, I think it's putting the cart before the horse a little bit on this because it is not at that point in terms of having filed a quo warranto or received a judgment from a court.
Fair, but we did make a move in closed session to proceed to file those actions, and based on the cases that we reviewed and the information we've got from our legal counsel, it's highly likely, more than likely, that your seat will be vacated based on what we found.
And I objected in closed session for this just because of the fact that being the longest board member here on this board, it's been fascinating watching the evolution of it and how we've gone to district elections, trying to break it down so that more of our community actually has that one-on-one interaction with their representatives, making it more approachable, etc. So as a result, my opinion is that basically, and why I voted no as such, is because of the fact that unless I hear from the constituents, and I have a constituent that's there, basically that's saying, hey, I want to run for this board position, I feel that this is a violation, then okay, then let's talk about this further, because of the fact then that now you have people from your community that feel that this is problematic. However, Mark won in 2018, 61.6% of the vote in that area. So much so that the following election, 4 years later, he ran unopposed. So I feel strongly that the constituents, more or less, are pleased with his service as trustee, and they don't feel it's a violation, and they're not complaining about this. And so as a result, I just feel that it is not my duty nor my responsibility to basically then just be this guy that's going to say, oh, well, this is what we're going to do because the community feels this way, I haven't heard from the community feeling this way. So as a result, I'm still saying no.
It's definitely not easy or fun to be sitting here sometimes. I also am a senior board member. I've received a lot of comments from the beginning, from the get-go, that Mark should resign because that is pretty much the standard, what happens when elected officials go into another office, they resign. I'd like to kind of clarify what the question is before us, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. And what the question is not, first of all, is Mark Lopez a good board member? Mark Lopez is a good board member. That is not what this question is about. That's not what brought us here. The other question that I've had some emails on is what Mr. Ellis just talked about. Yes, I understand that the constituents, I've only heard from a few, but you know, they appreciate him as their representative. Again, that is not what our question is. The question was prompted by decisions that Mr. Lopez made 2 months ago, which I'm not saying were wrong. He chose to run for another office, and he did so, and he was successful, which is what brought us to this point that through legal counsel, it has been determined that the offices are incompatible, and that likely would be upheld through the Surgeon General. So that goes around, you know, personally, I wish you weren't on that board and you were staying on ours, but through the action that has been taken, the question that has come to us is, what does this look like for our board? That's what I have to consider. And what I see, and I'm not going to go against the advice of our legal team because that's what they're there for. We are not attorneys. They are the ones that have vetted this, that have opinionated this based on some, I'd say, very substantial information and findings. So for me, it comes down to, what do I need to do that's in the best interest of this district? And going forward, that is not to operate or to govern under a cloud, which I feel that there could be that, because I know that his votes can be challenged. Not sure of the situations, but his vote could be challenged. Depending on what that was about, that could create liability for us. So my concern is, and why I'm voting this way, but I have some more questions about the censorship, is that basically from everything that I have gotten through discovery and through our attorneys, the seat was vacated when he got sworn in at the other board. It vacated his seat. So I have to look at that, but I also mainly have to look at what this is, where this is likely to go, and it is likely to be upheld, that the offices are incompatible. I don't know, Attorney DeMarco, am I off base here, or I'm trying to kind of go through what I believe to be the opinion. Because as I said, it's not about, he could be like board member A. It's not about, is Mark Lopez a good board member? I've always said he was. I voted for him, and I got a lot of other people too also. So am I going along, am I thinking of this correctly, that basically the offices are deemed to be incompatible?
So the way I would approach it is sequentially. So you have the California Office of the Attorney General. Elected members of the public may ask the Attorney General for opinion letters. And among the questions the Attorney General has been asked are the offices of trustee at a school district and trustee at a community college district incompatible? And the Attorney General has, on more than one occasion recently, said those two offices are incompatible. The separate question is, what happens when an individual trustee is elected to a new office? And under Government Code Section 1099, the first office is forfeited when the trustee is sworn into the new position. The method of enforcing that forfeiture is the quo warranto action. And the method of pursuing a quo warranto action is actually to ask the California Attorney General for permission. So you file paperwork with the California Attorney General, and the Attorney General says you may or you may not file a lawsuit about this trustee. So you have the same entity, the California Attorney General, the same individual, has already opined that these two offices in other districts and other situations are incompatible, is the same individual to whom you would ask for permission to sue in quo warranto. So the opinions related to the request. So it is the opinion of the California Attorney General that the offices of school district trustee and community college district trustee are incompatible. That's how 1099, Government Code Section 1099 is implicated.
Thank you for the clarification, and I think it's important that everybody hears what we are hearing, because it's really hard to go outside of that. It's really hard to look at something differently when you have that clear language. But my next question is the censorship, I know we needed this to be able to talk about it, to be able to say what we are hearing, what we're basing opinions on, what, you know, why, how and why we're going forward. Is this connected to the part that you just, is it necessary? Is it connected? Is it, assuming we go forward, which we have voted to consider the seat vacant based on what you just said, that comes down through the opinion that once you're sworn in, it's vacant. So assuming we go forward, is this part of that? Is the censorship part of that in any way? Is it, what purpose is it serving us?
I can't address what purpose it is because that's not a legal question.
Okay.
But this is completely separate and apart from any sort of legal action you would take under the quo warranto lawsuit.
I can answer the purpose. The purpose of me putting this on our table is so that the public can know what's going on, right? This is, of course, not saying that Mark is a horrible person. I'm not saying that. We appreciate all the work he's done. He's a wonderful volunteer in our community and an advocate, right? So it's not about him personally in any other aspect. I think we just needed to figure out a way to let everyone out there know this is what's going on. And these are the reasons outlined in the resolution why we decided to move a certain way. So to me, it's just to codify, put in record, this is why this board did this other action.
I just want to add that transparency of the board and maintain the integrity of the board is very important. So I think I'm glad that we are having this opportunity to have a public discussion about it. More importantly is, you know, just for us to congratulate Mark on his higher position, but also for him to continue to service in our community. So I just want to say thank you, Mark, for everything that you do.
And I'm somewhat conflicted because I do believe we need to go forward. Like I said, I'm tasked with what's best for this district. And I believe that with incompatible offices, it does create conflict, potential liability, things that I have to say, I have to look out for. That's what I'm here for. I'll be honest that I'm not exactly sure that the censorship, for me, connects that deeply with that, and I'm not sure what it, say we pass it, what does it?
It doesn't do anything to him. Nothing, no action goes against him. It's just a way for us to literally file a paper in our resolution files that says, here's what happened with the case of Mark Lopez. These are ways for the public to then see what's going on and understand why we ended up where we ended up. That's my full intention, just to be transparent to our constituents, our families, our staff.
And I'm glad we're being transparent because, like I said, I think there's a lot of misconception out there about how we are ending up here tonight, even discussing this, and it is not about his attributes as a board member or you know, I want too what the community wants, but I also would say I've heard from 2 people, but I've heard from a lot of people that felt that it should be the other way, that he should have resigned. So I'm not trying to pit one against the other. I'm just saying I don't have enough information to even be certain of what the district or community feels. But then again, that was sort of taken out of our hands when he got sworn in at the next office. That is what basically vacated this seat. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear to everybody. If you want to come at me and you want to send me emails, I just really appreciate that you understand what it is about and what it is not about, because it's hard to have a conversation about something that it's just not about. And I said I'm conflicted about this, but I'm trying to understand where your pattern going forward with this, because I don't think Mark is a bad person. I think that none of us do. None of us do. It's just that you have to hold certain behavior, I guess, accountable in the way that you feel is best. So I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, and I'm trying to read. I understand where Ryan's coming from. I'm trying to read where Ms. Yip is coming from, and this part is difficult. So I'll let you go ahead, Mark, and.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say it truly had been an honor being able to serve in Area 4 for the past 6 years. So I am, proud of all the accomplishments that we've had, coming out of COVID. That was a big issue. It was very contentious. Glad to support a very safe reopening of our schools, despite, being asked to reconsider that. Being able to be a part of, welcoming a new superintendent, being a part of that recruitment. So I want to, thank you, Jesse. We have a new two assistant superintendents. So I'm super excited for all the work that we've been able to do so far. I feel like this board, we really need to prioritize things like our resolution that we just passed, or reiterated our support for in our immigrant community that we have. And I'd rather we spend all of our time focusing on those types of issues. And we know we've spent a lot of time on this so far. I will say, just in part, that I have a stack of minutes here of research that I've done as well for votes for different office holders for Orange County Board of Ed while simultaneously being on city councils. None of those votes were invalidated. None of them have been challenged. We on this board, some of us are on outside agencies, YMCA, where we abstain from time to time. I know there's been an item where, there was an abstention and we had to continue that item. And so, there are things like that occur time to time. I don't recall any item with North Orange County that's ever been on any agenda that I've been on in the last six and a half years. So I'll just leave it at that.
I have one additional question. I know that I just took an ethics course, and it was very clear that you're not to govern contracts on both ends. Do we consider the pledge a contract?
I actually don't know what the pledge is. I'd want to review it before and do research on it, because I'm not familiar with the document.
Mr. Chavarria, do you have my understanding is that it's a contract between the districts, AUHSD, us, and North Orange County. So.
Yeah, so that would be something, Tony, that we would have to look at. It's an agreement with Anaheim Elementary, with Anaheim Union, and with local community college in terms of providing a path for students to be able to attend, higher learning. But I don't know if it warrants like it's an actual contract that you enter to, or this is just an agreement that we kind of say we want to do this. But it does incorporate work with the community college in terms of more the high school, but us preparing our students for the junior high and high school.
Yeah, there's definitely an agreement, but I don't know if that is symbolic, if it's, but I know that, when I was president, I was signing things, so I did have a concern about both ends. And as he said, you know, I've abstained on things because I serve on other boards, but I think that this is where we are now, and the decision before me is, what does this look like for this district and what's in the best interest? So
The
I'm gonna
pledge
go.
overall, looking at the website from the Anaheim Union High School District, the Anaheim Union Educational Pledge is a commitment to provide all students with an intentional comprehensive support system. So it's a commitment. The pledge is guided by a partnership between the Anaheim Union High School District, North Orange County Community College District, Cypress College and Fullerton College, Cal State University Fullerton, University of California Irvine, and the City of Anaheim. So it's a partnership, it's an agreement. It's not necessarily a I was involved in it.
Okay, we ready for a vote?
You know, in regards to the cases or situations I just cited a moment ago, in each of those cases, there was action because it's my understanding the Attorney General is kind of like code enforcement. They don't go looking for cases. There's usually a cases brought before them. And in both of these cases, it was a resident, a voter, in the Orange County Board of Ed. So there was not necessarily any district funds that were expended on this. So, you know, again, I don't think that would be a good use of district funds. So I just wanted to note that because I think fiscal responsibility is also one thing that all of us agree on. We're looking at, you know, potential budget deficit. There's good news right now in January, but by the time we get to May, we don't know what it's going to look like. So I just want to keep that in mind as well as we move forward. So thank you.
Sure. Fiscal responsibility would be solved if you would resign.
My question is do you have any thought about, you know, some people have stayed on and then resigned in a few months. Some people has resigned in a year. Is your intent to fully maintain and retain in the seat until the next election season? I'm just curious. You don't have to answer that, but and if you don't know, you don't know. But I'm just curious about what your intention of staying seated is. So no answer?
No, no, and that's something I'm going to continue. I know we had a legal opinion about it from our attorney, and that's something I'm going to continue to seek, you know, a second opinion. So, thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote on this. All right, trustee. Sure.
Please restate what we're actually.
It's recommended that the Board of Education discuss and take action to consider a passage of a censure motion regarding Board Member Mark Lopez. So we're voting yes, put through the censure resolution, or no, don't put it through. Okay, roll call vote. Let's go with Trustee Yip.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
No.
Trustee Lopez.
No.
Trustee Philbeck.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So it passes 3-2. Thank you.
Regretfully.
Okay. Let's move on to board discussion. Board member activities related to school business. We'll start with Board Member Yip.
I just wanted to say thank you to the member of the public for being here today and making sure that we have opportunity to talk about this. But I want to make sure that we see this as an opportunity to be transparent and look forward to a positive year for moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Morales.
So happy New Year's to everybody. A couple things since we basically have been on spring break or winter break and just got back this week. I haven't done much. I've been working and over break I, like many of you, was sick, carrying around that walking pneumonia. I don't know what the heck is going on here, and I still have it. Right when I feel like I'm getting better, no. And it just so happens that it always happens on the weekend, which is horrible. I think it's because I'm tired all week, and then the weekends I get to relax, and then I get sick. So as a result, not a lot of whole school board business going on, except for the fact that I joined 5 more additional PTAs, Franklin, Price, Roosevelt, Ross, and Jefferson, bringing my total membership to a total of 10. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez?
Thank you. I was able to, the only event that I was able to attend was here at the district office on December 20th. That was our Villages Community Essential Items Distribution. And I will say it was a great turnout. I want to thank all the staff who were out here for hours at a time setting up the lines. The district office staff here for, having to mitigate some of the traffic, some of the noise outside. There were a lot of donations, so I want to thank all of our partners for being a part of that. It really gave, I think, some of our theme parks a run for their money in terms of the lines that were winding through the parking lot. So really appreciate everybody's participation and collaboration on that to make it a worthwhile event and an exciting time, I think, for our scholars who were able to at least have some joy during the holiday season of being able to pick out the toy that they wanted to have. So I appreciate that. I also just wanted to mention, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, was the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law by President Biden, which is exciting for all of our members who have chosen education as a second career and has been something that maybe as a part-time job some of our staff may have in receiving Social Security that will no longer be reduced as a result of receiving a government pension. This is something that's been 40 years in the making, and so National Education Association has been involved. Our board in September of 2023 passed a resolution. I don't know how much it moved the needle, but it got to the finish line, and this is going to see impacted individuals receive an average increase of $360 per month in their Social Security benefits. So now it's just a matter of making sure that trust fund continues, and whether it's eliminating the wage cap on that, or what other remedies Congress may have. Hopefully they can reach some conclusion on that. Also, I want to move forward with our Individuals with Disabilities Education Act for full funding is kind of our next goal, or at least my next goal that I hope that the board will also continue to advocate and lobby for. And finally, I just want to say welcome back to all of our teachers and our scholars coming back this week. So Happy New Year. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Board Clerk.
Okay, the lifestyle cycle, was that after our last board meeting? It was before, so I think I reported on it, and I'll just say again, it was fantastic. So just to go over, there was a lot that went on before we went to break. And so I'll just mention some of the schools because I know they appreciate being mentioned. Jefferson, the Korean Advancement Celebration, which was really great, and I love the cultural events like that. And very well attended. The parents were all there. We had some fun times with a lot of different luncheons before the holiday. M&O, I think transportation. Is that the one where we had to judge the soups? Oh, the soups were fantastic. And then we had a district party. Am I missing one? You guys remember you were all there too? PTA? Yes, okay. So we just had some fantastic, times, and those times are important that we kind of get together and just enjoy each other's company for a while. I also went to Franklin, the ELOP holiday program, which I was really impressed. It was a skit, it was a play, and the costumes were simple, but the kids were enthusiastic, and they just did a fantastic job. I thought there were a few more of us at the debut district music performance for Showcase Band and Mariachi at Marshall. Maybe I was the only one there. I'm not sure. Okay. Thank you to the teachers. Thank you to everyone that put that together, and to our partners. It was absolutely fabulous, wonderful. I also attended the Villages Community Essential Items Distribution at the district offices, and that was pretty phenomenal. The things that were spread out on the tables and the families that came, it was a wonderful thing to see. The Price Winter Concert Performance, they did a great job. They always do. And I'll mention at the Villages Community Essential Items Distribution that Operation Literacy, engaging everyone, was there handing out free books. We had the surprise visits for the Classified Employees of the Years, and I won't mention the names because we already went over that, but that's always exciting to surprise them and let them know that they are now the ones that are going on to county. Is that correct, Ms. Melland? Okay. And last night, a couple days ago, I went to PLI, Parent Partners Training, which is, I had Yesenia explain this to me, trainers of the trainers. So they're the ones that are going to go back to the schools to facilitate a 6-week program where parents learn how to enhance their tools and strategies to support behavioral routines at home. And it was a 2-day, there was tons of people, tons of parents there. So I'm always really excited when I get to see that. And last night there was a council recognition, as stated before, for the creative writing project through the partnership of the Anaheim Public Library, Altrusa, AESD, and Centralia had students there. So that was really enjoyable, and I love to see our students getting honored and have that special little punch in there with, the council taking their picture with them and such. So I hope I didn't forget anything. There's probably a few things more, but I will stop with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Clerk. I just want to say welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a couple of days, everybody's back at their grind, I can already tell. It's already been several events and things happening in our schools where we're engaging our kids, and I know it's a lot of work on the part of the teachers and our staff, so keep on moving forward. Thank you for all you do out there. I know it's hard work, but we do it because we love the kids and we love our families, right? So I was able to attend the winter food distribution at the Villages event at the district office as well. It was really cool to see how many families in our community were able to get gifts for their families, and they even had gift wrapping for them. There was like a photo op. So creating some memories it's not just like, here you go and goodbye. It was like memorable kind of an event. So we really appreciate everyone who put in their heart to get items to our kids so that they have something to wrap, right, for their holidays. Yeah, just was a great time. So thank you for inviting us and having us there and having us partake in that. Other than that, I was not able to attend any other events in the last couple of weeks, but I do hope everyone did get some rest like I told you to at the last meeting, and take some time for yourselves and just kind of vegged here and there. Appreciate you all, and hope you have a good rest of the year. Like, it's already going to be February by the time we blink, right? So it's crazy. With that concludes my report. Let's move on to future agenda items. Trustee Yip, any future items? No, Relis?
No future items, but a request.
Okay.
Can we adjourn tonight in honor of Dr. Al Mijares, our Orange County Superintendent, who passed away last week after battling a couple years with cancer?
Certainly. And then Board Member Lopez?
Several items I would like to agendize for hopefully the next board meeting. Number one, because we did have discussion, well, I won't give the rationale. I just wanted to put an item on the agenda to eliminate board member health insurance starting with the 2026 open enrollment, and to codify that board member retirement be limited to Social Security or PARS, which I believe it already is, but I'd like to make sure that that's codified, including allocated budget amount and funding source for that. Number two, I would like, as a transparency measure, because we've been talking about transparency, and to be consistent with other public agencies, post our board member total compensation somewhere on the website. Most public agencies already do this for about 10 years worth, so I think that we should have salary, health, and retirement columns listed on there along with the total. So maybe going back to 2014, 10 years worth. Also, I would like an informational item on what would constitute a conflict of interest for board members serving on any outside city, county, or special district commissions, any other outside boards that have, could have, or may have any business with AESD. Also, I can't really ask for reconsideration on this item because it was already approved and the deadline passed for the CSBA Delegate Assembly, but I would like, because I would have voted no for one of the members, the nominations, but I'd like to agendize a board item to require at least a letter of interest from any possible candidates for CSB Delegate Assembly or any other regional board that we would be nominating and putting our name under as a board that would include their record, their experience, their qualifications, and their goals that they would like to have to be nominated and considered by our board. Also, this is Board Member Alvarez, this is a little bit awkward, but it did come to my attention that we had our CSBA conference December 5th, Thursday, December 5th, Friday, December 6th. I would like to have an item on this. I had a chance to talk to you about it prior to this, but it came to my attention from two community members that there was a photograph of you not at the conference at the theme park at Disneyland. So on Friday, December 6th. So I just want to bring it up just to have a discussion action item. I don't need to have a censure motion on it, but just to have a discussion about it. As a follow-up to that, as a separate item, just a review of a board policy that employees of AESD reimburse the district for any non-attendance of any district-paid event, short of any proof of illness, accident, having a doctor's note, bereavement, or any other of unavoidable and documented circumstances that may come up. Also, as a separate item, number 7, I would like just to get a turnaround time on our fiscal services in order to process and issue reimbursement. I know some of us, even for small amounts, have been waiting what seems to be an exorbitant amount of time to receive reimbursement requests. So I would like a report on that to determine whether it's a staffing issue, whether it was the holidays or it was something else that we can help support on in order to have our classified staff, our certificate staff, who may be depending on that reimbursement to get that money back as soon as possible. Finally, I would like to ask on the state's unclaimed property website. I know we're doing a pretty good job on keeping up with searching for Anaheim Elementary School District. I would also like to request that we search for Anaheim City School District, which I did the other day, because there are still some claims coming in that may not be caught under fiscal services. And I ask that because there are at least 5 unclaimed property items listed there in the amount of at least $1,858.47. Because some of these items are over $100, not specified yet. It could be more. So I think that we leave no stone unturned in terms of recouping as much money that exists out there. And then also, I think just in terms of our adjournment, I would also ask for those individuals from Los Angeles whose houses burned down and those people who lost their lives. Many of us may know some individuals, have family and friends that also live in Los Angeles, so I'd ask, or have suffered some catastrophic incident from that as well. So I would ask that we also adjourn in memory of those individuals in solidarity with them. And that will conclude my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Feldbeck, any items? Okay, so I would like to adjourn in the memory of Almi Harris and in support of everyone who is suffering from the fires in Los Angeles. That concludes our meeting. Our next board meeting is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. I adjourn this meeting at exactly 8:31. Thank you. Just laughable.